how we can be the best marketers by being ourselves and being authentic. So I learned all of that the hard way. And ladies and gentlemen, it wasn't pleasant. And I have marks, like psychological and emotional marks to prove it. Thank God for, Seema, my better half, and my mom, who's been my dad for the past 18 plus years, my sister in Florida, my family, my friends, and my mentors, who, if I was to shout out all the mentors that I've had all these years, the class would be over. I tell it like it is. Like, you know what? Please, don't do this, okay? Don't do this. Hashtag old school. And I say it with a lot of fervor and a lot of passion, and it confuses people because they think I'm coming off too strongly. But you have to understand, like, I've gone through a lot of difficulties financially after my father died, and then gotten back up. And so my goal is to share with the world my story so that they can learn from it, so that maybe my kids and others, and maybe yourselves can safeguard yourselves from some of the pitfalls that I went through. Does that make sense? I know that was a really long-winded introduction, but that's just the way. Okay. I also talk about the CAGE method. This is really cool. So it's C-A-G-E. Okay. So the CAGE method stands for anything that I do, whether it's on social media, online, offline, in my store, whether we're talking about the market, and we talk about, like, in the market, we started with FedEx, and then we went to UPS, and then we went to, and then Postal Service authorized us, and then just last year we got authorized by DHL. So we're authorized as a shipping depot, as a shipping center, independent of any location, of any carrier, yet linked to them through the authorization. So I'm not a franchise, I'm an authorized shipping center for FedEx, UPS, Postal Service, and DHL. It's like poison in the same room, like cobras, but you try to tame them, and it's tough, right? So it's such a double-edged sword all the time, and but it's a journey. So what ends up happening is that was one aspect of our business. We now have grown from shipping to and we came from 50-cent faxes. And I don't know if I brought my old card, but I went to bring, but we have fax, pack, ship, copy, and we have 41 different services now, including a 24-hour business center that we just launched in June of this year with private mailboxes that you can get your street address. And we have people all across the country and the world using our address as their physical location. So, and how that happened, that was my journey, and that's what I'm here to talk to you about. And no one understood, like, even now, I deal with, you talk about service, and you talk about, and it's retail. So you're gonna come in, and we're behind the counter, and then the customer is always right, supposedly, right? Shout out to everyone watching. Just thank you very much, hashtag gratitude, and you know what? Sharing is caring. And so quickly, CAGE method, consistency, authenticity, generosity, excellence. Wash, rinse, repeat. And then before I forget, because I'm getting sidetracked because these wonderful people have a lot of questions, my mission, go over it. What's my mission? To inspire, motivate, uplift, rejuvenate. To make the mundane extraordinary and provide you a stellar, remarkable experience in my spa of shipping known as the Island Ship Center. What I want each one of you to do, because I know you guys, 3 of you have like sales experience and you talk about marketing, what I want each one of you to do, and then CJ's gonna get to me next week, it took me 5-6 months to make this mission statement. Simon Sinek, S-I-N-E-K, it's top 5 TED Talks. Do you watch any TED Talks?
Yeah.
Okay, so Simon Sinek's talk on TED.com is one of the top 5, I believe, in the world. And it's called Start With Why. His new book just came out, and his website is called startwithwhy.com, W-H-Y. So find your why. It took me 5-6 months after I did this whole video and course to find out about what my why was. And when you find out what your why is, you're done with marketing. You can sell anything, you can do anything, and you can make people feel awesome. So you have to find out what makes you you and what makes you great, Kathy, right? And it's gonna be different from Joe and Candace, and I'm forgetting names. So just, right, so it's, but it's all of us together in this environment, in a classroom, or in a retail store, or in a hospital, and working together, providing our excellent skills, what makes us, each of us great. When that happens and you combine them together, that, ladies and gentlemen, is phenomenal. That's when fireworks go off. That's when fireworks go off, okay? In a very positive sense. So, hashtag push positivity, people. Hashtag Fahim fix. So I talked about the cage method. The market is like 22,000 plus people. I know we said 20. It's 22,800 people on the island. I'm also the vice president of the Grand Island Chamber of Commerce. But whatever. and it's just like it's growing, it's changing, and there's just different things are happening on the island. Like it's bizarre. And there's like an old islander colony almost, and then there's like new people moving in, and yeah, it's amazing. And I guess that's happening here in America. That's a microcosm of what's happening in America, right? You're having old school, new school. So I'll tell you why I was hired to be the social media director, because I am the connection, even though I am 43 going on 34, don't call me old, but right, I'm the connection between the millennials and the baby boomers. Because I'm able to teach social media in a language that boomers can understand and get it and use it at their speed. Hashtag just saying. Right? Right? So in Vegas, I had like 20-year-olds and I had 70-year-olds all in a room, like 45, 50 people. And they all they understood it. They're like, hey, what is this? I still call it a pound sign. So let's talk about quickly market penetration and selling. So people wouldn't come. 2 years I was in Harbor Town, baseline. No one would come, and it was a struggle. Like, what am I doing here? Because I was from this New York City, Long Island mentality, where if you build it, they'll come. Right? That's it. Like if you have a location, right? You could be a hole in the wall, and people would come. And I was from that mentality. And it took me 7 years to understand this, Kathy. Like, I kid you not. It took me 7 years to understand Western New York mentality. And like 2 years to understand Western New York, and 5 years to understand Grand Island. And he's gonna edit that out, but I love the island. I live on the island. I love it, it's great. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like those family members that come at Thanksgiving and you can take 6 days of them, but not the 7th. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I do.
That's what it's about. That's what it's about. And that's it. And so, so forget, bless you. So forget this market penetration and all, like, really, how am I gonna get the word out? And people are so resistant to change, something new, and da-da-da-da. What are you supposed to do? So I brought this, like my entire being is this. Like, you think I've got that energy now? You should watch my videos online. This is Fahim. So my brand is hashtag Fahim Fix. So not only do I fix problems in shipping, but I also provide a fix after which you don't need drugs and alcohol. Hashtag just saying. So people come to my store now. Those same people would not dare. They come for weekly quotes. I have a wall, you can see it online, that every week we change the quote, and it provides inspiration, motivation, upliftment, rejuvenation, part of my mission. And yeah, and we're just gonna sit around the campfire and sing Kumbaya. And that's what it's about. So marketing is about the experience. And that's what marketing has become. It's become an experience. People will not buy a how, and they will not buy a what. They will first buy into the why. Who are you, and what is your why? What is your why? What makes you you, and how do you do it? And the most important thing that I've learned, and this I tell everyone, I had people coming, and by the way, like those drop-off packages for Amazon, whatever, we get those like hundreds a day in Christmas time, like 20 textbook returns and all. So all those people come in too, and they just come and they leave it. But they come and then they linger in my store, because now we've grown into, like, my wife makes soaps and lotions and body care, so it goes with the spa theme. So that's where coming back from the, right, like you have a spa, that's how it fits, because it fits the brand. And so it's like the part of the brain, and I'm gonna tell you this is really important. The part of the brain that controls language is different from the part of the brain that controls emotion. And the part of the brain that controls emotion controls decision making. Simon Sinek. Watch the video. And then he talks about Apple and why freaking all black Caldwell iPhone 7s are sold out till November? Think about it. Yeah. Think about it. So the other thing that I talk about a lot is that mediocrity does not sell. Excellence does. People will drive 30 miles, 40 miles for excellence. Right, Kathy? I have clients in West Seneca, I have clients here in Delaware Park, and then we've grown into like furniture shipping, and we do a lot of LTL and freight, and we become in the business of making memories. So what's your why, and what makes you different, and what makes you so great? That's all, and constantly you have to ask these questions. How can I, so pick a product and think about it. Think about yogurt before Chobani. Think about coffee before Starbucks. And there's 3 books that I know you love to read. Get the audio book, get the video book, whatever you can do, but I'm gonna give you 3 books to read this year, and I want you to like tweet it out to me after you're finished. But I really want you guys to read these 3 books in the next year, if you can do it, because I know you've got a lot of work, but I'm telling you, like, you're gonna thank me. You really, really will. So, Adam Grant, Professor Adam Grant, he is a professor at Wharton, was the top 40, under 40 business professors in the world. Business Week awarded him that title. He's amazing. One of the best friends with Simon Sinek. Wrote a book a few years ago, it's called Give and Take. That book changed my life. Because I know you guys have all these questions like, okay, so you said 7 years, you've been in business for 10, so what was the turning point? Give and take. That was the turning point. The argument is that there are givers, and there are takers, and there are matchers, right? There's 3 types of people in the world. Those who give, the generous, those who take, the moochers, and majority of the people match, right? Tit for tat, I got your shirt, you know, like whatever, you do, you scratch my back. So the majority of the world is matchers. So you have moochers, right? You have takers all the time, right? Like old school corporate America. But then there are givers. There are the generous ones. And a few moments ago, I told you that my secret weapon of choice is generosity without expectation. And that's where I got it from. He gives examples about, in the long run, those who are generous and giving of their time, energy, experience, information, social currency, and we'll get into that in the social media unit. When you guys get into that, ask me about social currency, right? Excellence, generosity. Characteristics are social currency. That's what they sell. Authenticity, excellence. These are social currencies. How to weed out the people who are takers in order to find either the matchers or the givers. And it's just a game-changing book. So I really want you guys to read that, okay? And follow him, follow Adam Grant. The other one that just came out, it's interesting because it's so timely with what's happening. I don't know if you guys follow any of the local news, what's happening. We have a new supervisor on the island as of last year, and there's a whole thing with West River Road, and they want to turn it into a bike path on Grand Island, and the residents are revolting. I don't know how else to say that. The residents of West River Road, even though the path itself, that connector, there's 2 roads, one is becoming a bike path, but they want to get tourists, and that road is state-owned. So the residents really don't have much of a say, and yet the state was kind enough to ask them about it. Anyway, so I was in a meeting with the supervisor a couple of days ago, and I mentioned this book. And I was in Vegas, and in my class, I mentioned this book. And in my video on FahimFix.com, I mentioned this book. And I have yet to complete reading this book, which is, can you imagine this? Just from his podcast. So the author's name is Ryan Holiday, and the book is called, and you're gonna love it. Like, you're just gonna love it. I gotta read it. He talked about the history of the book, and it was a corporate struggle, and he narrows it down to every argument that happens in life. Like the title of this book helps me with my marriage. The title of this book helps me in talking to my 16-year-old son today, why I almost picked up my 10 and 11-year-old daughters, and then their mama called me and said, okay, they're not fighting anymore, so you don't have to pick them up at the store. And I had gotten to the store, and my son got upset, and I held it in. The title of this book helps me breathe when my son, my older son, comes home at 11:30 at night on a weekday, and his mom and I want to go to sleep, but we can't because we're parents, and that's what we chose. So, and the title of this book will help you understand the majority of the problems that are happening in America today. And I'm not going to be cruel and say, oh, look it up and you're going to go. It's called Ego is the Enemy. Tell me you don't love it. Oh, that was like such a... Tell me you don't love it. Like, do you love it? Guys, come on.
It sounds like,
it's
what's his name? Toll. Packard Toll.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's just, you know what? We refuse to let go. We even refuse to have the conversation. We refuse to have conversation. And it all started with your conversation about what you talked about at the beginning of the class, right? We refuse to have an educated conversation. And I talk about this all the time to my customers. When they come to, and I always call them clients because it's long-term relationships. So marketing has moved from transactional to relationship building. So ladies and gentlemen, if you can build a relationship, then you can market. Plain and simple. And that's all. The tools for building relationships could be through LinkedIn now. They were through referrals back then. Right? Just because they're through Twitter and chat and SMS and Facebook Messenger, and they were through letter writing back then, or they were through sending cards and other media, and then make a phone call. I was listening to a podcast of a very wealthy $1 business, and he's got all his personal clients and all his, all the people that he deals with that helped him get where he is, and their birthdays send him a reminder. And so when the guy, and he's got people in Australia, so he accounts for the time difference, and religiously he calls them. Like, he physically calls them and says, hey, it's so-and-so, just calling to wish you a happy birthday, take care, man. I mean, that means a lot, right? That's what it's about. So be authentic, be generous, be giving, be you, but be you. Like, don't be me, please. Right? But okay, so just quickly, attention and trust. Does anyone have any questions? Or you're just like, right, like you're enjoying the show, right? Yes.
Yes.
Do you have any questions? Candace, you sure?
Yeah.
Did any need bathroom breaks? Water break?
With the market being so small, you said you've reached out and gotten into other markets. Is it just through this, like how you were able to penetrate into the other areas, or was there?
Two things. Great question, Ray. Thank you. So let's get back to quickly relationship building. So just write down attention and trust. Remind me, because sometimes, like, I know it's hard for you to believe, but my attention is like a little straight. Sometimes I get sidetracked. Okay, so we talked about relationship building, and so giving and giving and giving and giving, and they would tell me their problems. Come to ship it to package and tell me their problems, and I would sit down for 30 minutes or 15 minutes before, because in the beginning days, like, no one came into the store like once every hour, or once every 2 hours or whatever. Like, so, okay, thank you, Kathy. And there was a Kathy, by the way. So just FYI, she spells it with a C. So there was a Kathy in the early days, and she used to tell me, and this is what happened, and my sister-in-law in Florida, and so-and-so ran away, and her boyfriend's cheating on so-and-so, and girlfriend's doing this, and the dog ran away. Yes, I'm telling you, that's exactly what happened. Hypothetically. And so she's in Snohomish, Washington State. There is such a place. And she comes home from vacation or wherever, or she's in Seattle and she works for Boeing and she's a fitness instructor, and she got hired making $175,000. So she moved from Grand Island to be a fitness instructor for Boeing because she's saving them $40 million a year because they're not getting sick anymore because they're all working with Megan and they're getting exercise and it's great. And this really happened.
That sounds ideal.
I'm telling you, go look it up. It's awesome. They're hiring.
Awesome.
Okay? See? Yeah. And so when she comes, and then she bought a lot of stuff at Thanksgiving and Christmas and couldn't take it on the plane. Let's take it to Fahim. And then that's how I started building my network. That it was just a family tree, and like everyone and his mother is almost related on the island. Except me, I'm like sort of related, right? Hashtag different continent. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, that's really, and so we started. The other thing is my involvement. I got heavily involved. So community-based business, just get heavily involved. If you guys are doing like community, okay, so Chamber of Commerce. Oh, and by the way, I'm also first vice president of the PTA for the high school because my son's yellow. And I'm so sorry, whatever. And I miss. By the way, I hope they're watching this. Can you get this? I'm so sorry, Trish, that I missed the meeting, but this is what I was doing, because they know that. Like, they let me come. So tonight was our meeting. Like, once every 2 months they meet, and they allowed me to miss it because of you guys. So, yay, Grand Island High School PTSA. Okay, anyway. So I got heavily involved, and that started like 2010, 2011. So Chamber of Commerce, and I was in the events, and and then all of a sudden, like the Grand Island Dispatch was just like, okay, Fahim's doing this, and doing this, and doing this, and it just kept, like, constant. And then push positivity. Most important thing, guys, please, I don't know I don't know anything about you, right, yet, thus far, but I will be more than happy to establish a relationship with you as I have with many people that I mentor. Okay? But they know this. You can ask Sam when I leave the room and go get a drink of water. You can ask him. But my biggest concern and my biggest topic or my biggest pet peeve is, besides punctuality, is whatever you do on social media, and social media really is the internet. Like, the internet is social, and it's all marketing, and it's all connected. And I don't care what anyone tells you, but that's reality, because it is all connected, and people see it. So my brand has become pushing positivity. People know me. So you don't think that I don't know what's going on in the world? We do. But 17,000 people changed their religion or their political party because of a Facebook post. Said no one ever. Right, Megan? Okay, so I forgot what I said, just so write that down. But does that make sense? Politics and religion, I just don't post. I just don't do it. Thank you very much. I just don't do it. I don't. And some of these, I don't because I don't. And those who I coach, I strictly tell them to stay away. And I see all these people Snapchats and their tweet. Like, really, why? Let other people do it. And I'll tell you, I'll give you a great example. So now every person is talking about the fact, no, it's true, it's talking about the fact that it's dark, and it's cloudy, and it's whatever, and why'd you turn the lights off, and right? So give me something negative about this situation. Go.
Sad. It's hard to see.
Oh.
I was not prepared for that.
Right, I wasn't prepared for that, great.
It's cold there.
It's cold?
Colder.
Oh, it's colder.
I have no idea what you're trying to prove.
Okay, that's fine, no, that's okay.
It makes me sleepy.
It makes you sleepy.
Not paying attention.
Okay.
It makes me tired.
Scary?
Scary.
Oh, thrown off.
Thrown off, totally thrown off, right? And so the entire world, so this is all the negativity. This is all negativity. Not fight darkness with darkness. Just turn on the light. It'll go away. So you're at par for success if you have all the 10 qualities. And that entire talk, it goes basically something like this. I'll list it for you, and I'll tell you about the talk. So it's passion, patience, persistence, politeness, combined with being awesome, authentic, appreciative, responsive, responsible, and respectful. And if you have all 10, and that talk, that 12-minute talk is in a PDF. And if you guys want it, that's why I give you my contact information. Send me an email and I'll send you the PDF.
Okay.
Okay? It's called Par for Success Talk, and it's also one of my clients. She was there, her son was there, so she recorded the whole thing on YouTube, and I've got it as a YouTube view link. Like, it's not a public link, but it's a shareable link, and it's through her account. So there's a lot. I try, FSD, focus, schedule, and discipline. That's been my journey. So I do that a lot. Like, to develop focus, to develop a schedule, and to be disciplined in making sure to finish one thing at a time. That's been my biggest struggle in achieving maximum efficiency, maximum output of myself, and giving of myself to the world. I wanted to do everything to everyone. Don't ever become a yes man or a yes woman. Please don't do it. Right? Pick and choose your battles. And that is part of my journey in marketing, in my store's growth. So we had to pick and choose. So do you do so people wanted they wanted us to be the cheapest, the best, and extreme service and quality. It doesn't work that way. So the most important thing is, I want you to, because I can't use any of these boards. So I was in Columbus, Ohio in May of this year, and I learned this triangle, and it's just brilliant. There's no pens here or anything? Nothing. It's okay. Just draw a triangle. It's okay. It's fine. We can gesticulate. Okay. So, price, quality, service. Each of the points, it doesn't matter where. So on one point you're going to write price. On one point of the triangle you're going to write quality. And on one point you're going to write service. Okay? And that is your marketing triangle. Okay? And that is retail. And that is whatever product you're selling. Now, pick any store, any business, anything, small, medium, large. You only get 2 out of 3. Choose wisely. So, in our Island Ship Center Spa shipping, we've chosen quality and service.
That makes the most.
Okay? So someone asked me, they're like, my kid asked me this, but Dad, what about Walmart? I said, Walmart chose price twice.
Exactly. That's what I was just thinking. Because they came to mind. I was like, they don't have.
I'm your #B fan, brother from another mother. Okay. Anyway, so, right? So just think, Sam's Club, do the Matrix. It's so much fun. Like I was like, oh my goodness, #light bulb moment. Think about it. Any business. So if you want 21st century, the millennial mindset, the Generation Z mindset, the young mindset, they're going to pick quality and service. Like, these Apple, they're going to pay $800 for a phone. Every year. Thank you. So if you can provide that with a phenomenal experience, that is the millennial marketing mindset. M to the 3rd power. Okay? That is huge. That is huge. Go ahead.
Besides food, I think food is one thing that every human will not pick: quality and service.
Okay, so how does Wegmans do it?
I was just gonna say, I will drive 20 minutes to get to the Wegmans versus the 5 minutes.
With the organic food? We started
I'm just saying, no, if you look at it because the, what? Yeah.
We don't choose it 100%.
Yeah, you've got a point.
Sometimes we get McDonald's.
Yeah, you've got a point. Yeah. You've got a point. Meaning, but this is, we're looking at it from, like, you and I are on the other side of the spectrum to offer to our clients. Does that make sense? So you and I have to choose that, right? It's not the people receiving it.
Yeah.
Okay? So on our side, okay, we're in this together here. On our side, we are picking 2 out of 3. And in my business, Seema and I have picked quality and service all day, every day. And anyone who talks, and there's a lot of, every day I get people who talk about why we're more expensive, bless you, why we're more expensive than the post office, and we tell them to go to the post office, and why we charge more, and why we do this. We get people, because it is what it is. It's retail. I'm not going to blame the island. It's people. It's human beings, right? And then they go to the post office, and they go to the UPS store, and they go off island. They'll drive 17 miles to save $1.53, and then they'll come back, and they'll have like symbolic blood on them because they learned the hard way because I've done all the homework. And I know we have better quality, I know we have better service, I know we provide an experience that you can't get anywhere else, and I know people from Clarence and West Seneca drive to come see me, but that's not enough. So go ahead. So your painting from your great-grandmother in 1883 needs to be packed and shipped safely and not broken, and it cannot be replaced, and the person, and you're going to trust it to a guy who's there $9.25 an hour versus blood, sweat, and tears here times 2, my wife and I? Really? It's okay. Thank you, but no thank you. I don't want that. I choose no. I choose you to go to the post office, please. And over again, I have it, yeah, it happens all the time. And those are my most fervent, most zealous advocates of my business. Right, Sam?
Yes.
They do it all day, every day. Nickel and dime, nickel and dime, nickel and dime. We're in the business of quarters. I don't know what a nickel and dime is. Howard Schultz, the CEO of Starbucks, small company, maybe you've heard of it. This is the book. It's called Pour Your Heart Into It, How Starbucks Built a Company One Cup at a Time. And it's just phenomenal. It's a great, great game-changing book. And that's my third recommendation for you guys.
Pour your heart into it.
Pour Your Heart Into It. Don't you still have the title, Megan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I just want to read this to you, okay? It's just 3 paragraphs. Please bear with me. Business can teach us a lot about what people can achieve when they work together. One person can only do so much. Now, Starbucks is not a small company, mind you. That's why I like this, because it resonates. It's not Fahim talking, right? It's not someone you don't really know, but it's someone who's built an empire in the modern day with a mundane product and transferred it to extraordinary, and now is telling you how he did it. And at the end, he says, one person can only do can do only so much, but if he gathers, he or she, and I said this to Sarah as our executive director at AMBC and Sept, says, if he or she gathers a company of people around him who are committed to the same goals, if he galvanizes them and inspires them and taps into their inner drive, once again we're talking about the why, right? What's the inner drive? What moves you, 3 o'clock in the morning, if I woke you up, Ray, and I told you, you got to do something, what would make you get up and do that? And Megan and Chris and Kathy and Joe and Candace and Dawn and, how do you get your name?
Zahir.
Zahir. Right, did I get it right? Okay, what would move you? So if he galvanizes them, inspires them, and taps into their inner drive, that's leadership, is making people, and I think that's Churchill, right? Do something that you want by making them do it as if they want it, in such a way, right? In such a way that, like, yeah. When we do that, when he galvanizes them and inspires them and taps into their inner drive, they can perform miracles together. It takes courage, because you're rising above a lot of naysayers, a lot. A lot of people will try to tell you it's impractical or impossible. They'll tell you to lower your sights. They'll tell you business can't be benevolent, Joe. They said it can't be done. People over profit. And he talks about that. So money talks. And as my wonderful angel says, BS walks. So, well, he says the full term, but you know, we're on video here. Okay, so remember, you'll be left with an empty feeling if you hit the finish line alone. When you run a race as a team, though, you'll discover that much of the reward comes from hitting the tape together. You want to be surrounded not just by cheering onlookers, but by a crowd of winners celebrating as one. Victory is much more meaningful when it comes not just from the efforts of one person, but from the joint achievements of many. The euphoria is lasting when all participants lead with their hearts, winning not just for themselves, but for one another. Success is sweetest when it's shared. That's the title of my blog. Success is sweetest when it's shared. I tweeted that, and yeah. And he grew up in the projects in Brooklyn, and now he's giving back to that basketball and football team in those high schools, and sending kids to college, and and he does that like actively. Product development. I want you guys to just. I did this exercise when my now 16-year-old was 9, 10. He's very inclined to like business. Okay, my older one's not, but this one is. And so I had him start, and I want you guys to start this too. I want you to start driving, and don't ever text and talk and drive. Start looking at billboards and see which ones resonate with you. See which ones move you. And it's interesting, you'll see a lot about the company. It'll tell you a lot about the company. What the billboard says will tell you a lot about that company. How it makes you feel, it's rare. It's rare that a billboard will make you feel a certain way. And, but interestingly, I just have to give you this side. So we were in Vegas or in Florida, and it was an ad for an air conditioning thing, right? So it said, it says, your wife is hot. Please call XYZ AC company right now. I love that ad.
I think I've seen that.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
It's in Fort Lauderdale. You
Yes.
get off the airport and I took the red car and said, I was like, what? How dare you talk about my wife? And it says, please call this air conditioning company. Brilliant. Love it. I think it's, right? Like, I think it stays on the line of respect even with, because, right? So it's not going, and yet, right, it was all, and all the images were air conditioning. Yeah, so I really like that ad, but that's whatever. So you guys should tell me, contact me and tell me what billboards move you. I mean, there's some really clever ones, the electronic ones, the new ones that have.
I think Delta Sonic's always really creative.
It's very good.
I drive 190 south from South Buffalo down to the
Yes.
Bridge. You always have something double entendre type, thing. And it's good. It's creative.
And they're constantly changing it.
Yeah.
They're constantly changing it with that. Yes.
Even Walgreens,
Yeah.
they're pretty attractive billboards.
Where have you seen the Walgreens ones?
Right off, I think 190 north,
Okay.
just after you cross the border.
Oh, okay.
Main board, yeah.
Yeah.
Just before the outlets.
Well, yeah, okay.
They're promoting eating healthy and fresh.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I like to look at them because you see, you've got a certain amount of time and a message, and you can capture that, and if you can capture that person's attention, but if you can make that person feel a certain way, then that person will talk about you or your brand. That's the most important thing, and so how to do that. So why I'm going to Billboard. So once a year we travel to these shows to get new ideas, and we meet. Last year and this year the show was held in Vegas. Next year I don't know where it's going to be, but we met about 500 different store owners in the country, and we exchange ideas and we network, and there's a trade show, there's an expo, and then there's breakout sessions, and there's learning and teaching, just wonderful creative stuff going on. And we get so many new ideas about product development and diversification. And so that's how we did it. One person can't do it alone. So then 2013, my wife came along in the business, and now what she does is she does all the merchandising and sourcing. We sell handbags in our store, spa theme, right? And they're sourced from Vegas and California and Los Angeles and New York City. You won't find them here. And so we did it like we had a purse party. And so we launched on June 1st through Facebook. We had a purse party to launch our private mailbox service, right? Because we did. Because we're the spa of shipping, because that's our brand. That's what we did. And in 2.5 hours, we sold more than 65 purses. And half the people couldn't attend. And it was great. And we had a lot of people, and now they're talking about. So, when you get to the social media unit, please understand, marketing through social media is anything but solicitation. Okay? So it's not solicitation media, it's social media. And it's social for a reason. Keep it social. So it's not religious, it's not political, it's not solicitation, it's social media. It's called social media to keep it, right? I'm not telling you that purse story, Megan, to sell you purses, to tell you to come to my store. That's really spammy and lame. I am telling you the story because it fits into my business. And do you see the difference? Like it's just, we're keeping this social. So if we do this, like if I just met Ray and I started selling him stuff and giving him my business, I only give you my business card because of my content. But if I started, you want to buy this, you want to buy this, we don't do this in real life. Why do we do it on social media? Like it's a turnoff. Like all $6.99, 3 for $1, 4. You get this all, right? Don't do this. This is not marketing. It's a mixed up ideology of thinking that you're gonna sell something by bombarding people who have attention. So let's get back to attention and trust. The two most important commodities in the world today are attention and trust. And do not, the cardinal rule, Seth Godin, baby, the cardinal rule is do not exploit either one to get ahead in your company, in your marketing strategy, in your business. And if you can do that, you will never, ever, ever have a problem making money or being successful in the business world. Attention and trust. And if you look at case studies all day long, you'll see what happened to the big companies that they abused one or both of those two commodities. Because they thought they were bigger than, and they're not bigger than the market. Okay? And then being romantic. And the other problem is nostalgia. And talk to CJ next week about, you have a test next week?
Or assessment.
The assessment, okay. So talk to him about, we were talking yesterday at lunch about being nostalgic and the way things were. And that's great. And I remember answering machines, and I remember, we remember all these things. But if you remember and you stick with that strategy, you're going to go out of business very soon. Even Twitter is having problems because of Snapchat and my entire, let's connect. Well, where do you want me to, where do you think I'm letting you want me to connect with? Right? Like, okay, I don't love this medium per se, but 18 to 34-year-olds, 41% of 18 to 34-year-olds in America are on Snapchat. Says Snapchat.com. So whatever, right? Like that's where I got that stat from. The attention is there. So don't exploit the attention or trust, and don't be nostalgic or romantic about the way things were. Like, oh, I wish that we were in email marketing, and I wish that we do this, and we did shipping. So I made it into a hashtag. I put it on my wall. It's written in the shape of the island, and it says hashtag spa of shipping. So I have 3 hashtags: spa of shipping, hashtag Fahim fix, and hashtag exude excellence. And that I get from an Aristotle quote. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not just a habit, not just an act, but a habit. So exude excellence is my motto, that I don't want mediocrity. You strive for perfection, excellence will be tolerated. So quality and service. So then she started making lotions. My daughter got allergic to some of the petroleum products 3 years ago, 3 years ago, and she started making products at home, and it worked. And so we started hashtag try before you buy. This is a huge model. So we started giving away some of the lip balms for free when we first started to people. Like, here, try this, try this, try this. And every single one and their mother and father and significant other came and bought more. And now we've got like people addicted to the stuff. Lemongrass sage, lavender, geranium. I'm just thinking of our top few sellers, but yeah. So, and then now we have candles. She makes soy candles, and one lady took them. She came from Elma to buy it, and we did a whole Facebook video. And she took it, and she's like, well, I know you don't eat bacon, but we do, and it's really hard to get out the smell. And so she tested it on her bacon on Sunday morning, and it worked to get out the smell. So she comes in from Elma to buy like 30 candles and soaps at a time to our store. And so we diversified into, and that product mix, Chris, is huge. Like we have, and now we're selling food, like the Wegmans products, because we don't have Wegmans on the island. So we're selling like meals in a box, popcorn, jalapeno flavor, really good stuff. And we source snacks from this company in Texas. And we started with a little bit a few weeks ago and sold out immediately of all the products that we would give to our own kids. We keep in the store. And this is something huge I really want you guys to write down. Don't ever, I don't care if you believe it now, but believe it after we get this class. Don't sell anything that you don't believe in. Just don't. It's not gonna last. It goes against authenticity. It just does. So that's my test. So every product that I add, why do you sell it? Why does other places not sell it? Because it's me. It goes with who I am. Right? I want to give this to my own kid, so let me sell it. I use this on my own child, let me sell it. And I don't have to sell it. Like, I don't ever have to sell it. So marketing is, it's different from selling. It's basically allowing someone to be, so now, in this hour and a half, you guys have totally become familiar with Island Ship Center and what we do and who we are and my brand without me soliciting to you. Like, I'm not. I totally am not. I would love to welcome you in my store and for us to have a conversation, and I will drop what I'm doing for each one of you, except in the month of December, as I'm just saying, because it's Christmas season, and take you in the back and have a meeting. And I don't want you to buy anything from me. At all. And I don't want you to talk about my business, nothing. Because I'm fully 200% invested in the relationship. That's what I'm all about. And when you build that relationship, it's like a flower. So you invest in it, and 17 months, sometimes it takes 6 months, 8 months, whatever it does. And that's how I did it. Every single person, if like 100 people come into my store a day, 85 to 90, we're getting a lot more now, so about 85, I know their name personally. That's how much work I've done. Yeah. I know if they've got a dog or a cat. I know their neighbors. Oh yeah.
What kind of car
I
they
know
drive.
what college their kid is going to, because dorm room made easy, we ship to their dorms. I know if the cookies got there or not. And conversation is currency, my friends. Hashtag that, tweet it, whatever you want to do. Candace, conversation is currency.
Got it.
Generosity sells. Authenticity sells. Excellence sells. Attitude sells. Effervescence, don't use it, I'm thinking of trademarking it. You can call it high energy or whatever you want to call it. I call it energy sells. Effervescence sells. And I'll tell you something that has to be behind all of these qualities, and that is a sincere and pure heart. You can't do it by being fake. And you can't do it by having an ulterior motive. Give and take, Adam Grant. Read the book. Go ahead.
You said that you were going to listen about apps for productivity.
Yes, apps for productivity. I got a whole list I've got on my cheat sheet that I can send you in PDF. But I will tell you right now what I use quickly. I use Boomerang for Gmail. It's called Boomerang. We get about 20 free credits a month. I've never gone over. Boomerang allows you, if you have Gmail, it allows you to schedule your emails for free. It's awesome. So yeah, so you want to, so that you're not, so you schedule your email. So 11 p.m. at night, you write the email for tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, and then Boomerang will send it in from your Gmail. I also do that for my text. These two have been lifesavers and time savers. So my out in 2018, and if someone on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or Snapchat or Pinterest holds me up to it, then we'll have a book launch, and you guys are all invited. But until then, this is my gift to you, and just read it, and yeah, just, you know what? Share positivity with the world. Like just do it. It's amazing. It's amazing. It really is. And during the break, Kathy and I were talking about, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. And we were talking about, she had to turn off her Facebook because of the negative posts. I really hope I have enough. I think I do. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. They did. Did they get these?
So,
Did you get the notes?
We got that.
Did you see that? Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And turning off negative posts and turning off negative people, and I do that constantly. You get,
Is the world becoming too sensitive?
I take that to be a blessing in disguise. If it is, then let's up our game. Notice, I don't think you would have said anything to me had I not said he or she when I was reading, but I was cognizant of the fact that I am very respectful to women. And so I purposely said that to make sure that if anyone has a problem with, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
But ask me, explain where you're going with this so that I can, because I look at it that way.
I mean, it's the world. I mean, if because a lot of people, the best way to do it is to like step out of it, like to shut off like the negative people, but I guess just don't lose thought of you're trying to create a perfect world that's not there.
Of course. Absolutely, I agree with you.
Everybody, not necessarily needs negativity, but you need balance. I mean, you need to be able to, like, balance your thought. Like, your thought isn't the only thought in the world. So if you cancel out everybody's opposing thought, then I think that you're putting yourself up on some part of entitlement, and because you're choosing to
I wouldn't say
fence yourself
it's
in.
opposing thoughts, it's like the, poor me, you know, it's like, people treat me so badly, and I never get a fair shake, and, I lost my job, and it wasn't because of me, and it's like, I don't wanna know.
But isn't that? But I'm just saying that that's the way it is. I mean, that's how the world has been. You have to. The people have to voice their thought to make change.
Yes, I agree with you.
So if people are going to shut themselves out to the ones that are trying to voice that they want change.
In a disrespectful, hating manner. Those are the only ones that I advocate shutting off. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I totally get it. I would love to have a conversation with you, and here's how I have this conversation almost once every other day, because I know it's hard for you to believe, but I talk a lot. Once every other day with one of my clients, we have this conversation, and I say, the only problem that I feel is that you and I'm confident, can have a conversation about your tattoos, and the fact that I will bring an opposing view to yours, and then we will stand up. I just picked your tattoos. Okay, so I will have and we'll get up, and 90% of our ideas will be differing, and yet after getting up, you and I will be respectful citizens and human beings to each other.
Absolutely.
And that is my qualm. That, I think, is being lost from the world. So in pushing positivity, does that make sense, Ray? In pushing positivity, I am advocating, let's have a conversation. Let's talk about the nitty-gritty. I'm all about the transparency. I don't have time. You want to ask me about 4 wives? I don't have them, sorry. But I'm not from Yemen, and it's okay. My problem is when we do it in a disrespectful manner, which is why that respect comes in, we lose the fabric of being human beings, and therefore we lose the right to our opinion at times, in terms of me accessing my right to shut you off. That's what I choose. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I'm all for the differing opinions. I do it all the time. I mean, I engage with all the churches in our area for interfaith dialogue, and yes, absolutely, I love it. Engage. Just don't, and it's okay. It's okay to disagree. It's really okay. It's healthy. And it taps into our intelligence. But when you do it to be vindictive and nasty and disrespectful and just wrong and slanderous and blasphemous and just all...
A lot of times it's because you're not educated.
Thank you. Thank you. But that ignorance is going around. So that's why my message to you guys is, please educate the world in a little bit of positivity and respect, and how to get their point across in a manner that is civil, courteous, yet firm. I thrive, I love conversations like this, I do. Any other questions?
Well, I have a question.
Sure.
But I might have missed it. So do you sell your voice products online too? Or is it just?
I get asked that a lot. We're slowly going into that. I'm saying yes, and she's saying no, and it's hard for us to keep up with the demand that we have already, and so it's a 2017 conversation.
Gotcha.
I'll ship you some samples for free. I will, Megan.
Perfect.
I will. Send me your address. Yeah, I will.
I love
I absolutely will. Hashtag try before you buy. It's dangerous, but now I'm being a little solicitation. Just a little bit.
No,
Yeah, I absolutely will. It's great. Yeah. Oh, it's great. I love it. I so love it. I don't have to sell it at all. I would love for you to try it, and yeah, I use it. I'm wearing it right now. It's awesome. So absolutely. So she's got this hesitation because of that, but yeah, it's cool. And market testing, like just a quick thing, market testing, like Instagram is a great test, Kickstarter is a great test market. So the most important thing that you guys, if you have a product that you want to bring to launch, market launch, test it. And not just with your friends or in the past, but you've got an entire world out there through social media to test that product out. So make sure that the product is resonating with all different types of demographics, age, gender, different types of people before you go out there and spend a whole lot of money and invest, not knowing that your product's going to sell. And so market testing has gotten so much easier and cost effective now than it ever was. So please take advantage of the channels. And visual is huge. Like, it's amazing. Speaking of positive, and I'm going to leave you with this. Positive social media. Have you seen that post that just went viral this week with Mike Rowe reading the letter from his mom at Walmart? She was at Walmart and she lost her purse. You have to look at it. It's gonna, it's so joyous and it's so nice to see that of all, like, there's some posts that people find, I'm like, really 2 million posts on this stupid thing, or, and it was so nice to see that 53 million plus people viewed that. That's huge. And it's, Mike Rowe is, do you know Mike Rowe? Yeah, Mike, right? Dirty Jobs, right? So he has, on his Facebook page, just watch that video. She loses his, it's basically a reason for him to call his mother. He doesn't call his mother, and she writes him a letter, or she writes him an email. And in that email, she talks about how she lost her purse at Walmart, and then how she found it, and for him to make an excuse to call his mother because you're really busy with your social media friends and you don't have time for your mom. It's brilliant. It's so good, and it's so positive. And then the next day, like yesterday, he had a post about the responses and about how his 80-year-old dad and mom, his 80-year-old father and his mother could not go to dinner because his dad was so busy reading one of every 50,000 comments on that particular video. It's so delightful, and that's really what social media is all about and should be. And I encourage you guys to add to that positivity because the world definitely